Danny, I decided to do it kind of like this. My initial claim was that you're being lied to. Now, I'm starting your video right here to say that I agreed with everything that you said up until that point. Except, let's put Trump aside for a thing. I'll explain that. So I'm going to let you talk, and then I'm going to show you what I mean by you're being lied to, and try and break your algorithm, or break any algorithm, okay? Because a little bit later on, you kind of gave away the game. You said you only get your news from like Facebook, you're addicted to Facebook. Okay, you're in a pond that's very deep, and it's all controlled by Microsoft and Google and Facebook. They were one of the worst for the censorship, and it's still going on. So I'm going to start it right here, and then I'm going to stop it, and then go back and forth with some stuff that I want you to see. I want you to absorb this information that I'm seeing on X, because there are none of those type of like specific algorithms for you. You get to absorb it all. So you said your beliefs are your beliefs, but you can't start off a discussion like that. All right. My claim was that you're being lied to. So now it's on the onus for me to tell you the truth. I was just trying to tug on your thread earlier. I'm sorry if it came off harsh. I really am. I absolutely love you, and that's why I care about your opinion. And you know I do. You felt that. And God, I feel you through this. So just bear with me. I just want you to absorb these other things. Okay?
J.D. Vance actually admitted Trump intentionally lied about Trump's insane geriatric claim about how illegals are eating house pets in a recent interview. So,
Okay, let's stop there. So that's referring to this.
What there?
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice
We'll
President
find
Harris.
out.
Okay. He said there was no evidence. So why, first of all, why is the fucking moderator fact checking? It's supposed to be a goddamn debate between two candidates. So let's go to the city manager.
Laws and culture is 180 degrees different of what they're used to. And one of the things that I heard that bothered me very much, I've actually had quite a few people contact me here lately, is some pretty horrid things occurring to domesticated animals in the neighborhood. We've had some stuff in the park that, again, they're being taken advantage of for reasons other than, and if you shake your head, Brian.
No. I asked me if there was proof.
There's proof. No, there's proof. He's getting told this in confidence by actual citizens. And what's the next one? An actual citizen.
Facebook making these jokes to get everything fucking funny. Like, imagine you being homeless for a whole fucking year for no fucking reason.
Talking about the economy.
Like, what the fuck? This shit is not fun. This is not cool, bro. They really out here decapitating animals and y'all are making jokes out of it. Imagine if you went outside and you saw your dog's head decapitated on the fucking ground. Like, are you dude? Why?
I mean, come on. Someone's lying here. Someone's fucking lying here. So let's go back to your video.
So I'm being lied to? Like, every single thing Trump says is a fucking lie, bro.
Is it? Neighborhood crime alert.
In the Springfield neighborhood after really a disturbing incident caught on camera. The owner of this cat tells News4Jax Ashy was attacked and killed on her front steps and then taken Saturday night. This happened on Red Wing Street near Maine. This comes as Springfield neighbors say several cats have gone missing recently. News4Jax reporter Eric Avanier spoke to one witness, and we want to warn you, the details are disturbing.
Multiple incidents of in and outdoor cats coming up missing have one thing in common. They're disappearing overnight. A neighbor who witnessed the latest incident says he pulled out his cell phone and recorded something he could not believe. Saturday night around 11, a suspect described as a skinny man believed to be in his mid to early 30s with a thin mustache wearing all black clothing and black boots was seen attacking a family's cat named Ashy.
Okay, this is the shit they're not going to fucking tell you because you got to look it up, because it has to do with the complete open border, which is a humanitarian crisis in and of itself. All right,
Oh.
next.
And you're okay with that? You're
Are
okay,
you okay with
being
it?
lied? You're okay with his rhetoric? Like, you're okay with that? You're okay with his disrespect, blatant disrespect towards women? Side note,
Okay, who? Rosie O'Donnell. This guy. We have to focus on policies. He has a family. Okay, he has a bunch of awesome kids. He runs billion-dollar businesses, and they spent $250 million investigating him. They didn't find shit. All these cases, bull. They're all bull. They're getting thrown out. In Atlanta, Fannie Willis, her and the other prosecutor, they're all, you know, intermingled together. If you just look into it, the documents case, Joe Biden kept records when he was vice president and Senate. You can't do that unless you're the president, because that goes back to the Sox case. Only the president has the ultimate authority on what is classified.
have you noticed how Melania doesn't even want to just look at him? Like, doesn't even want to touch him?
What?
She is so disgusted. But anyway.
You can't make those value judgments. You have no idea. You have no idea. That's just a value judgment on something. Come on. That's...
You said there's evil forces backing Kamala.
We are going to wait for that one at the end. I'll show you what I mean.
Fitz, do you think I was born yesterday, bro?
Well, you aren't looking past what they're telling you, and you only said you're addicted to Facebook. You know, and I can see it because I know these things are lies.
I was not born yesterday. I know that there is evil forces backing both of those motherfucking parties. Everything's a lie in America.
I agree.
Everything's bullshit.
I agree.
Our government totally sucks. That is
Who's running it?
By Tenacious D. Everything's a lie. Do I think the Democratic Party is perfect, bro? Absolutely not.
Good.
Absolutely not. But there are some things that I'm very passionate about that the Democratic Party is trying to make happen. So who backs Trump, Vince? You say evil forces are backing Kamala. Who backs Trump? The police union endorsement.
Danielle, that is a good thing. They are dealing with 22 million illegal immigrants. Crime is through the roof. You want the proof? Here's the proof. Right there. Gotta move it over just a little bit. You can pause it there. That is direct from the government. It is the truth. They are backing him because they are overworked, which means everybody else is in far more danger, which is a bad thing.
Evangelicals who want to mix God and government and ban.
Okay, how? How are they mixing God and government? There's not a one-state religion. We have constitutional amendments to prohibit that type of thing.
And abortion in all states.
That is also not true. It is up for vote, finally, after 50 years. and Ruth Bader Ginsburg herself said it was bad case law. So they took a issue that was always the state's prerogative. There should be 50 answers to this because nobody has the right answer. Trump himself has said the 3 exceptions: rape, incest, life of the mother. I agree with that too. So does everybody else. And the crazies, they're not even paying attention anymore.
Elon Musk, let's talk about fucking Elon, dude. He could literally take over the entire world with all of that money. That man is so greedy.
It's how is it greed when he is literally creating rockets that land themselves? He bought X and freed everybody from the censorship. 44 billion he put up for us to finally get a bigger picture of what's actually going on through millions of citizen journalists that are not controlled by the corporate media. What about Tesla? Electric cars, isn't that good? Don't you believe in that? He is a smart person. He is actively helping humanity. Thank God he's there.
He is also transphobic.
I'll get to that at the end.
Other rich, greedy fucks looking for a tax cut?
Tax cuts are good. Here's why. Because other countries exist and their tax structure is less than ours. So these people who are greedy fucks, they will go take their companies, pay their taxes there. Or at least house their facilities there. Which means less jobs here, which means all of us suffer more.
Racists and homophobes.
Okay, we're going to go on the race thing now. Here it goes.
The other day, asking people when was the moment that they came to the conclusion.
You see, we can't say who's racist or not. We're white, right? We're not going to appropriate that. So let's let this black man talk.
Donald Trump is racist. A lot of people said Essential Part 5. We'll talk about that in another video. For me personally, it was the very fine people on both sides thing.
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
I remember seeing that clip and feeling like, wow, maybe he is racist. And I just happened to come across this video on YouTube. It basically said that the clip was edited and that I should go back and watch the entire clip. So I watched the entire thing. It got to that point where he says very fine people on both sides. I'm like, see, that's exactly, I knew he said that. There's no point in me even continuing to watch this. And then it goes on and it gets to the part where he's like,
and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists because they should be condemned totally.
So he said he wasn't talking about the neo-Nazis and white supremacists. Why would they show me part of the story and make me feel like this? Even in the presidential debate against Joe Biden, he brought up the very fine people thing.
Kamala did the same.
Fine people on both sides. What American president would ever say Nazis coming out of fields carrying torches, singing the same anti-Semitic bile, carrying swastikas were fine people?
Kamala Harris just brought it up on the recent debate.
Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate.
Ooh.
And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side.
People are still saying it even though it's been debunked. Snopes just added this shit in 2024 that was a lie. He supposedly said in 2017 he dropped out of a presidential race because white supremacists joined his same party.
I'm not going to be running. The party is, as you know, self-destructing. When you say the party is self-destructing, what do you see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party right now?
Well, you've got David Duke just joined, a bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party.
Then you find that clip with him with Jesse Jackson.
Beyond that, in terms of reaching out and being inclusive, he's done that too. And created for many people a comfort zone when I ran for the presidency in 84 and 88. And many others thought it was either laughable or something to avoid. He came to our business meeting here in New York because he has this sense of the curious. and a will to rest to make things better. And so aside from all of his style and his pizzazz, he's a serious person who's an effective builder of building the builder of people. Last year he was a part of our workshop, of our panel workshop on what are the challenges and opportunities. And so this, a year later, Donald Trump, for a few minutes, challenges and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities. Donald Trump.
Well, it is an honor to be here.
You see the clip with him on The View, and him and Whoopi Goldberg, she's saying that they're friends.
We're only going to get Whoopi's vote, okay?
If you did, let me just ask, if you did beat...
And she likes me. She even put me in a movie. She put me in a movie, right? A long time ago. And how much did I charge? Nothing.
Like they say
right?
in
It was a freebie.
People love this guy. Like Oprah saying that he should run for president.
You have a vice presidential candidate in mind?
Well, I really haven't gotten quite there yet.
It's this.
Oprah, I love Oprah. Oprah would always be my first choice. Oprah, your competitor, right?
No, Oprah's a competitor.
You know what?
No
I'll tell you, she's really a great woman. Though. She is a terrific woman. She's somebody that's very special.
Wow.
Judge Joe Brown said,
I've talked to a number of black entrepreneurs who back in the late 80s and 90s, early 90s, were trying to get financing. They couldn't. Somebody told them to go check with Donald Trump. So they come back and tell me they got a loan from Donald Trump. He gave them a term loan. Show up with the interest and the principal, one check. But they had to go see him personally. They independently relate this tale that when they saw him, he said, this what you're supposed to pay me? This our agreement? I said, yeah. And then tore the check up, shook their hands, and congratulations. Now run your business. And this was
Didn't accept the money. Go run your business.
About how he showed him how to increase his wealth.
Get a C corp to run an LLC. If you want to make it even deeper, go get a trust fund and run a corp that runs the LLC. You want to get even deeper, own two trust funds for your business and your person to run that trust that runs all the business. They can get deep, my God.
Absolutely.
And Donald Trump actually showed me that method.
People will say that they want truth, but when you try to present them with information that goes against their beliefs of Donald Trump, they act like this.
He's condemned white supremacy over 20 times.
Oh, yes, man. Could you tell me when?
Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to see a video of montage of 20 times that he's done it?
Oh, actually, no.
But how are we going to learn if we don't challenge our ideas? I mean, you just made a statement that is actually inaccurate, and I can show you video evidence of why it is. I mean, would you like to see that?
No, thank you.
He's condemned white supremacy and the KKK over 20 times.
Over 20 times?
Yeah.
Do you have them right here? Can I listen to it?
Absolutely, you can. Let me pull it up for you right now.
All right. Okay.
By the way, I'm James. How's your day going, man?
I'd be a lot better if you guys were wearing masks.
We can socially distance.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Wait. You don't want to see the examples? I have 20 examples right here.
It's just like Yuri said.
Exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him.
Former KGB spy talking about the destruction of the United States and the plan to take it down.
Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, when a military boot crashes his balls, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization.
The populace versus the establishment. Whatever they do to the populist candidate, they're doing to you. When you assist the establishment in crushing the populist candidate, they're going to turn around and do it to you next. Whatever rules that they broke to get at him, that you cheered on because you were so anti-him, those rules were broken so that they can get your consent. And now that they've used your hatred to build consent to break the rules, now they can turn that same attack towards you. And you've yayed and amened it into existence. If you previously believed that Trump was racist and then something changed your mind, I'd like to know what.
All right. So let's go back to you.
As patriotic as you are, how can you be okay with one religion's beliefs, just one religion, not affected by a combination of all religions? It is one religion, it's Christianity. How can you be okay with one religion's beliefs affecting law in our free country? As a member of the LGBTQ community, how can you not be horrified by the conservative Republican agenda at this time? You'll probably say Project 2025 is a lie. If you feel that way, I'd like to know how and why.
Okay, Danny. The law goes all the way back to the Hammurabi Code. It was then further enhanced by the Ten Commandments, which then was brought forward with Jesus Christ, talking about the Golden Rule. Over time, we got Black's common law. And going up to the American Revolution, John Locke, even a little bit of Thomas Hobbes, Thomas Paine, Jefferson, Adams, Washington, all of them were Christian. That section. All of that section were Christian. That's why we have the fair laws that we have. They are Christian enough to allow other religions. They are Christian enough to give people agency and free will within the confines of do no violence, do no harm. Basically, what's what all boils down to. Whether it's property rights, civil liberties, all of these derive from the agency of the person, the sanctity of the person. That every individual matters. That's why you matter. Why Christianity? Why the West? Danny, in these third world countries, gays are decapitated. Women like you are put in the beekeeper suit. And they let 20 million come in here in the last 4 fucking years. What do you think is going to happen? Immigration is fine as long as we vet them. As long as we take the cream of the crop that are not going to upset our apple cart. Why is it that you have so much sympathy for these people but not for your own? So your belief is literally putting people like me in danger. Only in Western countries are we allowed to practice. You cannot argue that. So you need to take that out right now.
How could you have once been so passionate about Ron Paul and his policies and now be a Trumper?
You have to understand, Ron Paul blazed the trail. He was censored. He was shut out. I memorized all of his policies. Trump is not Ron Paul. I would prefer him every day. Every day. But we need someone that can handle himself inside of a negotiation with another nuclear power. That can negotiate better trade deals. Like MCUSA that got rid of NAFTA. Massive boost for our economy and our infrastructure and everything necessary to sustain our society.
Remember Ron Paul 2012, man. We were into that shit. We were into it.
That's why I'm like, what is going on here, Danielle? That's why I'm like, I'm flabbergasted. I am flabbergasted that we've even come this far. Remember this. That was the rubric. That was the rubric that you and I came up with. What's the method of the policy? Is it economical? Is it moral? And what's the history of it? Don't you think I'm applying that to all of Trump and to all of Kamala at the same time?
You know, Ron Paul was like Bernie Sanders, you know,
No, he wasn't. It was the polar opposite of Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders was all about more government control. Ron Paul was not. So that is polar opposite. Polar opposite. Were both insurgency campaigns? Yes. That's where the similarities end.
They had a lot of similar policies.
No, they didn't.
I was Bernie Sanders all the way, dude. He's like Jesus Christ. You got to know both parties blow.
Yes.
In the
agreed.
grand scheme of things.
Uniparty.
This
yes.
country has backed us in a corner, forcing us to choose from the lesser of two evils.
Let's talk about the Uniparty for a second.
I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
You talk about extreme. You know, this is, I think, one of the reasons why in this election I actually have the endorsement of 200 Republicans who have formerly worked with President Bush, Mitt Romney, and John McCain, including the endorsement of former Vice President Dick Cheney and Congress member Liz Cheney. And if you want to really know the inside track on who the former president is, if he didn't make it clear already.
Come on. Come on. Come on. It is a uniparty. This is why, yes, there are sides. There is a faction of the Republican Party that Trump is a part of. The upper echelon hate his fucking guts, actively campaign against him because it is both sides of the coin. It's the same people that are in power and they want to stay in power. Come on now. That's slam dunk.
Third parties have no shot, and that has everything to do with money.
Yes, it does. And here's the deal. The No Labels Party tried to get on the ballot. Robert F. Kennedy was kicked out of the Democratic primary. That he wasn't allowed a voice at all. He's a Kennedy. He's a fucking Kennedy. Nobody voted for Kamala Harris to have the presidential slot. At least Biden, he survived a primary. So who's the threat to democracy here? This is what I'm talking about. Who is lying? You are being lied to. And all of us are paying the price. So I'm yanking on this chain because I love you. And I love my nieces and nephews who are going to grow up in this world.
That's bullshit.
Is it?
And it's unfair.
No,
and you
not.
brought up Epstein. That's Trump's buddy.
Is it? Oh, we already did that. Okay, here we go. Jack Straw. For those who have not figured out Trump's affiliation with Epstein, allow me to explain. Trump is the one who exposed Epstein in 2008, hence why all DC fears him. Trump is Epstein's #1 enemy. And here's what they mean by that.
President has had relationships.
This guy was an attorney down in Florida. Part of one of the attorney Bradley Edwards explains the latest on Jeffrey Epstein prosecution. So you got to look for this stuff.
In the past, and there are those Katie Johnson and maybe other victims who accuse Trump of being involved in things like this. In my experience, Trump supporters will not listen to anything along those lines. Obviously, we're not a court of law here right now, but are those claims of though that case was dropped? It was dropped before it went to court. In your opinion, as a lawyer and your experience, is there anything you can say as to the validity of those claims, or whether or not there will be any more about that?
Nothing at all. The only thing that I can say about President Trump is that he is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, "Let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know," and was very helpful in the information that he gave, and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition of him.
That was in 2009.
So let's go back to this. Epstein was running a blackmail operation. He was seeking out the most powerful people on earth to compromise and control them. He tried to get Trump, but Trump did not bite. Trump banned Epstein from his properties in 2008 for hitting on the teenage daughter of a club member at Mar-a-Lago. Then a couple of months later, Epstein pled guilty to state criminal charges in Florida for paying for sexual services from a 14-year-old girl. See the timeline? Epstein tried to get close to Trump to compromise with him. Trump found out Epstein was a sicko. Then Trump helped turn him into local police. Eventually, the Clinton-controlled FBI intervened. Epstein was let off the hook. This is what I'm talking about with evil. All right? Here are all the damn sources this guy uses. And it's a whole long story. I'll post this this source because this needs to get straightened out. All right. So let's go back to you.
And there's documents and photos to prove it.
No, there's not.
Bring up how Diddy backs Kamala. That's one bad person.
It's not one bad person. Diddy did not act alone. Epstein also is on there. Jeremy Saville is also on there. Plus the 4 or 5 people that just went down in the UK. Plus all the Disney people who are all Democrats. They constantly catch these child predators. So I'm going to make you sit down and watch this.
This is Dr. Fraser Crane. I'm
You
listening.
motherfucker.
Oh, hey, Dad, I got a question about punctuation.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but
what the
it's
fuck?
definitely a 15-year-old's dream.
What?
You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he
What the
signed
fuck?
Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go buck full crazy.
We're going crazy.
Dude. Seriously, yo. Look, read the indictment. Read the indictment that the feds brought. Do some research into those freak-off parties. Who was there? All the celebrities. And guess what? They're going to all start dropping endorsements towards Kamala really soon because the FBI's compromised. They went in to grab the fucking evidence to use on these people because that's how this entire system is run. You want to talk about evil? That's evil. That's what we're up against.
The entire Republican Party, I'm going to say about 90% of the Republican Party is trash.
Yeah.
I know I have family members in the Republican Party. Some of them I have continued to quit talking to because they're blatant racists. They talk about, like, hating Muslims and shit. I don't fuck with that. But if you're just a Republican, like, fine, dude. If you're gonna believe Trump's lies, fine. Like, you're delusional, but fine.
Okay, who's delusional here? Who's actually delusional here? These are value judgments that you, as you say, coming up, you only look at Facebook, yo. I'm trying to break you out of this algorithm because I love you, because I know once you look into it, you're going to be like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay. The vaccine, you brought up the vaccine. I thought that was entertaining. I am right there with you. I agree with you on the vaccine. How can something that got studied and tested for 1 year be safe, be 100% safe and effective for people? I don't believe it. But the funny story is, I took that fucking vaccine. Here's why.
No.
I went on a cruise during the COVID season because it was cheap. I had a black mark on my face. Hold on. I'm doing great. I went on this cheap cruise and they demanded us have the vaccine and I took it. And I haven't had any weird side effects. I definitely didn't get the booster. But yeah, I agree. I wouldn't have taken it either, man. I am right there with you. That's something that we agree with.
But you have to understand about the vaccine. Biden mandated it. Kamala was there. She agreed with a mandate. How many lives were ruined? How is this a good person?
X or Twitter, you mentioned that. I think you mentioned censorship. I agree with you. Censorship is awful, and it interferes with our freedom. So we agree on that.
Right, but you're only looking at Facebook.
Platform X or Twitter just isn't for me. I'm addicted to Facebook. I know Facebook sucks. All social media is somewhat lame if you really get to thinking about it. It's all narcissism, vanity, advertisement.
X is not that. X is a lot of citizen journalists who are not paid, who do excellent work. And that's why I've been pulling from X this entire time. X and, a bit of YouTube. Let's look here.
37 hours after he took the oath of office, President Biden's White House opened up a portal for the FBI to begin to have access to social media posts on all the different social media sites. The FBI then invited in the CIA, DHS, the IRS, and CISA. CISA is this new agency that is the center of the censorship industrial complex. That is in charge of making sure Americans don't hear things that their government doesn't want them to hear. And those agencies and other agencies, including the health agencies like CDC, were given access to go into the social media sites and change posts and slow walk things and shadow ban posts. It was part of that effort. They removed my Instagram account. I had almost 1 million followers. They say it was for misinformation, but they could not point to a single post that I ever made that was factually erroneous.
Which side's doing the censorship? You said we don't agree with censorship. You didn't agree with the cancel culture. But it's that side that's doing the censorship. It's Kamala. It's Biden. It's all of them that are doing it. And you're accepting this. That's why we're like, oh my God. What the fuck is going on here? We'll get to that one in a second.
Etc. Another thing. Please pronounce Kamala's name right, bro. She's a beautiful woman.
I don't know how to...
She's awesome.
Is she?
With Senator Harris confronting Vice President Biden at the last debate, you called it a, quote, false accusation that Joe Biden is a racist. What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place. That impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response?
She is the queen of lies. The queen, the absolute queen of lies.
And beautiful woman aside, she's a person with an ethnic background. It's not looked...
That's not a qualification for a job.
It's not looked at very kindly. People don't take kindly when people don't pronounce people's names correctly, and Trump is purposefully pronouncing her name wrong differently in every speech. It just annoys me. You mentioned tax cuts. The last time when Trump was a president last, he did tax cuts for the top 1%. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about there.
Like I explained earlier about tax cuts, for those specific, for that Trump tax cut, that's the only thing that's been keeping the economy on, it's basically on fumes now. And you got to remember too, what Biden, i.e. Kamala, also did. They got rid of the Keystone Pipeline. But they approved Nord Stream, which is in Ukraine, which they later blew up and tried to blame Russia, that they blew up their own pipeline in order to keep the Ukraine war going. So we screwed ourselves, allowed Russia to build this thing, benefit off of it, and then we blew that up, and we still haven't, unscrewed ourselves. That's the incompetence that's running this thing. Look at the Afghanistan withdrawal. $40 billion worth of weapons left for these people who engage in terrorism, who engage in sex slavery, keep women in beekeeper suits, decapitate homosexuals. This is what I'm talking about with evil. Okay?
I do want to know, I asked you a few questions in this. I hope you were taking notes too. And I would like a feedback video or a return video. That's pretty much all I have to say. Actually, no, I have more to say. You mentioned that there's only a few things that I'm passionate about. There's only a few things that I'm concerned about when voting for Kamala. And, you mentioned how it's hard to say this without getting upset. You mentioned how, the abortion shit, isn't that big of a deal.
It's not what I said. I said, you want to talk about pro-choice? They're not giving you a choice. Because if you wreck the economy, they're not giving you a choice. So you can't so a poor person who finds himself in that situation, they can't even have the opportunity to choose life because the economy sucks. So why isn't the power of death, the power to end an organism, not equal to the power of giving that organism life? It's this inconsistency here. And remember, all of this is going on against the backdrop of what's coming. Because here's what's coming. World War III is coming. And I don't mean to be, we now are engaging in active military operations against a nuclear-powered adversary. And in 30 days, which you did not mention this at all, BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, are coming together along with about 100 other nations to dump the dollar system, which means they no longer need to use United States dollars to settle their transactions for whatever product or service internationally. All of those dollars are coming home, and it's going to collapse our entire standard of living. That's the stakes. You want to talk about evil? Evil is Diddy, Epstein, Ukraine, the illegal migrant crisis, the leaving of all of those weapons for those horrible people in Afghanistan, the allowing of what Israel is doing to Gaza, all because they found a huge oil reserve underneath Gaza, because Israel, the only place in the Middle East, has no oil. So they're rolling in, and they're just killing kids. And everybody else. Now they're using pagers, cell phones, to trigger massive attacks literally pages blowing off people's like hip. That's indiscriminate. Kamala, Biden, they're allowing it to happen. At least Trump says, I want people to stop dying. We're going to settle all these things. So I'm against the biggest abortion of all. World War III. Where are you? Kamala's not. She was sent there as the emissary, and the war broke out like 5 days later. They could have did a deal. They didn't. Because they don't care. Because it's the military-industrial complex. She's a part of it. Trump is not. He ended wars. He had it all set up to go to get out of Afghanistan. And Biden and Kamala took over. They bungled it. This is what I'm talking about with evil. So, here we go. No, so Trump, no war, less taxes, secure the border. RFK Jr. is going to clean out the corruption at the FDA, Health and Human Services, USDA, few other places, which is his expertise. He was an environmental lawyer. He is right about the vaccines. This is a good thing. The digital transition. We already know BRICS is coming for our throats because they have had it for 50 years of murder and mayhem that has been caused by the military-industrial complex, all the corporations, everything. Elon, he's going to help form an efficiency agency. When he took over Twitter, he downsized the company by 75%, and it operates better now. This entrenched bureaucracy has their boot on our throat, and they don't care. They're taking everything that's not nailed down because they know it's collapsing. He also said he's going to declass the JFK files, and he promised RFK to his face he's going to do it. Plus a whole host of other issues. So the CIA is going to be cleaned out. The DOJ is going to be cleaned out. Are you accepting that they can use the weaponization of government against political adversaries? I hope not. And he's going to pass something called the Reciprocal Trade Tariff Act. So if someone puts a tariff on us of 10%, we do it back to them at 10%. This is required for negotiating internationally. That's how huge all of these issues are, and we are on the precipice of something awful. I feel it. Everybody I look at is worse off. Worse off. Absolutely worse off, Danny.
It's a really, really big deal. And I guarantee you, Vince, if you were a woman, or if you had the ability to carry a baby, you would be on my fucking side, dude.
What about if you were a man and you're staring down the barrel of World War III and women can't be drafted? Huh. Little different, isn't it? Here we are, or not, giving you the 3 exceptions. Rape, incest, life of the mother. And we don't want to be taxed for anybody else's abortion because we feel it is killing. If we found one cell on another planet, we'd say, oh, there's life there. But you put it in a woman's womb, it's whatever. See the inconsistency? So what side are you on? Are you on the side of death? World War III? Migrant crisis? All this other stuff? I just proved to you how many times they've lied to you. Please get an X account. Please. There's so much more to this. And this didn't take me long to do. It really doesn't, if you're genuinely curious.
On this shit. I know the Democratic Party blows. I know the Republican Party blows.
Yes, like I said before, with the Kamala thing, she has the endorsement of 200 Republicans. That shows you it's a uniparty that we are up against. And the only person that's taken bullets is Trump. Get it? He's going up against all these people. And he's not going to tax your tips. Or he's not going to tax Social Security for people that are 65 and older. Do you know what Kamala's going to do? She's going to have a $4 trillion tax increase. On realized gains, she's bumping it up, which a gain is any sort of investment you have that you then cash out. So more of a tax. But even worse, she's taxing unrealized gains, which means if you didn't sell it and it went up, you have to pay the tax on it. What corporation or person or anything will ever house their money here again? These are massive, destroying nation policies that is going on here. It is so huge. So we need you on our side, Danny. We need you on our side. Just this once. If you care about me, if you care about my 6 nieces and nephews, care about the people around you, realize who's actually lying to you. That's why I'm saying, get the X account and see it. See it for yourself. I just had to put it in your face. And I wish this didn't have to happen, but you just caught a bad algorithm. I know you understand this stuff. You are not stupid. You do have a good heart. I know this. I've felt it. You kept me company. You and a lot of others. And you didn't mention, or probably even read, what I wrote back then. And know that, oh my God, I called it. I'm calling it now. Am I crazy? Or do I love so profoundly that I need to tell the truth? They have you playing in this pond and they dug it deep. And if what I gotta do is strip down, dive in there and get you, that's what this is. And maybe this is my penance too, because I've never been perfect. I've always been a bit of abrasive, but you always knew that I had the best intentions. Anytime I took a stance, it was because it was the right one, the correct one, through hours of contemplation. Talking about everything from philosophy, economics, history. I'm reaching across time to you and telling you, this is scary. You cannot be a one-issue voter this time. Give that man another reevaluation. He's taking bullets now. I love you, Danny. And this is where I'm going to stop it. I hope you don't respond without really considering what I just showed you. Why haven't you seen it before? Get the X account. I guarantee you're going to be so pissed. And then you're going to see me for the honesty in the heart that I'm actually, because it's profound. It's a profound act of love to tell the truth and to reveal a lie. This is how serious it is. That's why I'm so passionate about it. That's why I'm speaking up now. Because I went through hell. I genuinely went to the other side. And I still kept my honor. I didn't buy into their propaganda either. Nothing but hedonism. There's nothing there about life. about preserving, creating life, complementing life at least. I had such hope when the same-sex marriage thing passed, or, you know, the Supreme Court ruled, but what have they done with it? And I saw it up close. Saw it up close. Had to deal with it. Part of me still can't accept it. But it's the truth. And it's all because of these goddamn algorithms. I actually do love you, Danny. You will always be my friend. That's why I wanted to do this. I hope to God this breaks the goddamn algorithm.